Good evening, esteemed viewers of KSPA Media. Tonight we have a special international broadcast. This week, the director of the Energy Community Secretariat, a European Commission division overseeing Ukraine's implementation of laws, regulations, and legislative changes, is visiting Ukraine. However, today we'll discuss the Secretariat's lesser-known role in Ukraine. If you know that it manages the Energy Support Fund for Ukraine, which has allocated nearly 900 million euros to support Ukraine's energy sector during the years of active aggression. Joining us is the director of the Energy Community Secretariat, Mr. Artur Lorkowski.
Good evening. It's my pleasure being here.
Thank you. And a question for you, Mr. Artur. The Energy Support Fund for Ukraine has raised $900 million, according to the latest info.
Small correction.
Small correction?
Yeah, because we have already exceeded 1 billion.
Yeah.
And this is just the sign how much donors are very much determined to continue supporting Ukraine energy system and to repair the system after the damages being made by the Russian army. So the fund is growing, unfortunately, because we would love not to have this fund if there would be no damages. But we have not control on that. And that's why we are very thankful to all of the donors that they are continuing supporting the fund. And thanks to that, we can support Ukrainian energy system so that the system can survive.
Okay. Next question. Who are the fund's donors? Which countries contribute directly? How does the fund distribute aid to Ukraine, and which Ukrainian companies receive this assistance?
Let me start by saying, let's start from the very end. You know, what are the outcomes of that, what the fund is providing? And I must proudly say that fund contributed significantly to the fact that Ukraine has just managed to survive another winter. The same situation we observed in the last winter, but the very previous winter, 2024-2025, was very, very difficult for the energy system. But because of the support given by the donors to the fund, we managed to repair that what was needed. We have developed that what was needed to survive the winter. And even if people in Ukraine can feel that there are some limitations when it comes to the access to electricity, still the system is functioning, the market is functioning, and this is a very important element. Who are the donors? Maybe I will also start by saying that the fund has been established a couple of days after the Russian invasion on the request of the European Commission of the European Union. And Commission and the European Union is one of the key donators to the fund, but also Commission is playing a very important role in offering the support for the Secretariat to run the fund, so that it results in the very important outcome that every euro donated to the fund goes to Ukraine, plus interests. So every euro given to the fund is transferred to Ukraine, to the Ukrainian energy sector. And this is just because of European Union decided to cover all of the relevant costs of the management of the fund. And that structure has already attracted many donors, 30 of them, mainly the governments, but also we have private donors, private companies. When it comes to the governments, as I said, European Union, Germany, United Kingdom, France, Sweden, but what I want to emphasize, who was the first? The first was Denmark. And Denmark is a very important contributor to the fund. But also Poland, Lithuania, Switzerland, but also countries which are outside of the European Union, like, for example, Canada, Australia. So we have plenty of donors. We have a multiply group of different institutions who are contributing, and they are seeing, the added value of going through the fund of the energy community. But as I said, we also have donors from the private business. They are the companies from Lithuania, from US, from France, those who are decided to contribute because they believe very much that the support for the Ukrainian energy system is needed now. And we are also very much happy having those private donors contributing to the fund.
That's great.
Yes, I agree.
This is big news for me. It's amazing how it works, and I hope our viewers will realize just how much support we're getting from around the world. Thanks to your fund, you gather companies' needs, pass them on to donors, and perform this crucial moderation role.
It is much more complicated. What I would emphasize at the beginning that we have very different clients, very different Ukrainian companies who are benefiting from the fund. So we are not focusing on 1-2 biggest companies, but we are very much reaching to all regions of Ukraine. We are operating in 21 regions of Ukraine, so with exception of those who are where we can observe now, so who are occupied or where the combat activities are ongoing. But we have 56 companies who are benefiting from the fund. So you can see that geographically the fund is very well and even distributed across Ukraine. So we are not focusing on the big cities or in certain regions like Kiev, but we are really, geographically distributed this support to the places where the support is needed. The basic principle is that we believed from the very beginning that the Ukrainian companies, they know the best what they want, right? So if the Russian army is destroying transformer, this is only the company where this transformer was destroyed can specify what piece of equipment is needed, what characteristic is needed for that. So this is the responsibility of this company to define the characteristic, the specification of the equipment which is needed for them. This information is submitted to the Ministry of Energy, and Ministry of Energy is approving those requests, but also Ministry is having, the helicopter view over the system. And the Ministry is able to prioritize properly who should be the first served, who has the priority with the access to the funds, because the Ministry knows better than me sitting in Vienna what are the real needs. And this is the very good quality of the fund, that we are not trying even to pretend that we are smarter than Ukrainians. You know better what you need, right? And you know better what is needed now, not later. And you can better, explain...
Priority.
So what are your priorities? And then if you have specification and the approval from the Ministry, we start the procurement process. We have our independent procurement agent, the company, who is looking for equipment both in Ukraine, but also in the European Union markets and worldwide.
Yeah.
Because Ukrainian companies, they need a very specific equipment. Because this is like puzzles. If you take one piece of the puzzles, you need to put in the same place very identical puzzles. So you need to go to the market and look at the market whether this is available. And if not, you need to start manufacturing that. It might take some time, but it is also the option. And that is the reason why we are looking worldwide what is available on the shelves to be delivered to Ukraine, and or what should be manufactured. If there is manufactured, mainly we're doing that in Ukraine. So we're also supporting the Ukrainian companies who are doing this job, who are producing the equipment for Ukrainian energy sector. And if the product is ready for the delivery, we are paying for the delivery. We are paying the transport cost to the company, and in many cases we're also paying for the installation. So we are providing the full financial package from the very beginning, from the procurement, from transportation and the logistic, and finally, in many cases, also the installation cost. So this is like Christmas time, you know. You write the letter to Santa, and then you can get after the approval of parents, which is the Ministry of Energy, the equipment you need for the repairment. As I said at the beginning, we proved to be very efficient in doing that. So we are delivering efficiently this equipment. I will give you an example. Last year in June, Ministry of Energy calculated and estimated that for winter to survive, they would need to add to the system minimum 4 gigawatts of installed capacity.
Yeah.
The fund itself provided half of that. We provided 2 gigawatts of installed capacity in the generation sector only. Additionally, we provided equipment for the transmission system operator, for the gas transmission operator, for the distribution operators, for heating facilities. So this is a much more complex process behind. But the message is that we are taking care of all of the process, and we are delivering the final equipment to the place where it's needed. And we are very happy that we have a very significant support also from the Ukrainian authorities. This is not only the role of ministry to decide what is needed, but also we have, for example, the tax and custom exemption given specifically for the fund by the Ukrainian authorities. So we can also utilize better the money we have from donors for buying and for procuring the equipment and not paying taxes, which would be difficult to understand under the current circumstances.
It is a big job.
It is.
Very big job.
It is, and I must say it is mainly being done by the Ukrainian employees of the Secretariat. So we recruited very good people who are doing all of the job, starting from the procurement through the process of management of the contract, invoicing, payments, until the level of verification. Because we are also verifying not only whether certain equipment is delivered to the company, but also we are checking together with the regulatory authority for energy how this equipment is being used in years, so that we know that, for example, auto transformer is delivered because we have the confirmation of that, but we also know that it was installed and is being used in line with the previous plan. And this is a very much important element because it gives confidentiality to the donors and gives trust in the system to the donors. And that's why they are also very keen offering next support, because they see that the money is being used very efficiently.
Це захоплює і вражає. It's impressive, and I wonder, will the fund keep this up in 2025 and beyond? Цю роботу в 2025-2026 році.
You know that answer to that question, my preferred would be no, because it would mean that there will be no war any longer. That will be the destruction. I don't want this fund to be needed. You know, and this is my primary objective. But unfortunately, we don't know how the situation will evolve, and we will continue this work as long as it will be needed, as long as it take. And this is our promise we have made to the European Commission. We have made also to the Ukrainian Ministry of Energy, but also to the to the Ukrainian companies. But even if the war will be started, there will be still a lot of rebuilding work needed for that. And we are thinking now how to develop the fund into the instrument which is not only fixing and repairing the instant and emergency and is providing the emergency equipment which is needed for now, but how the fund can contribute to increase the investments, private investments in the future. So I'm thinking on several concepts how the fund can provide instruments for minimizing the risks of investments in the Ukrainian energy system in the future. And there are several ideas. We are checking them with Ukrainian banks, with Ukrainian companies, with Ukrainian authorities to check what could be built, what kind of tailor-made mechanism can be provided to Ukraine to enable those private money to come to Ukraine and to start investing in the rebuilding process.
This is fantastic, as the fund supports the crucial issue of security supply. When we discuss recovery, this is a distinct matter, and the fund can serve as a future tool for the European Commission, specifically for restoring Ukraine's energy sector. Since you've achieved excellent results and everyone trusts you. Trust in our times is a significant narrative. There's another question. In 2022, the Ukrainian system disengaged from Russia and joined the European integrated energy system. In 2024, when we suffered significant damage to our energy system, electricity shortage, Europe helped us, expanded import capabilities for the front, but we understand that this was temporary support, and we have a substantial task ahead to unify our energy systems, expand export and import capacities. These are the European Union's requirements concerning marketing and other technical matters. What can you tell us to expect in this component?
Let me start by, making some calculation. I told you that the Ministry of Energy calculated that they would need to have 4 gigawatts extra capacity to survive winter 24-25. And I told you that 2 gigawatts were provided by the fund. Some additional megawatts were provided by other donors. But the question is how Ukraine managed to provide electricity having still the deficit because of the Russian destruction. And the answer is very simple. It was because Ukraine got the possibility to import electricity from the European Union. So the European Union, by providing this electricity, covered the gaps in the Ukrainian system and supported the stability of the system when it was necessary through the cooperation between the transmission system operators. And that was possible because of the process of so-called synchronization was completed on the emergency mode in March 2022, so immediately after the war started. So, but what does it mean, synchronization? Synchronization means this is just the integration of the hardware. So this is like you would connect 2 computers, each other. This is just the connection of 2 hardware, pieces. But it still has some, there are still 2 separate computers. But the objective is is to add the software to the hardware, so that these two computers can operate like one organism. They can operate in the network, like in internet. And this mechanism of adding this software is called market coupling. So this is the form of integration between two or many electricity markets, which the form of integration which has been already offered to Ukraine in 2022 under the umbrella of the Energy Community. But additionally, this message was reiterated by President von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, visiting Kiev very recently on the 24th February this year, on the anniversary of the outbreak of the war. So there is the offer from the European Union to join European Union electricity market, the biggest, the most liquid market in the world. But to do it, you have to do your homework. You have to transpose the legislation. You have to prepare your market operator, so institution who will be dealing with the market, will be organizing the market. You have to prepare your transmission system operator, so that transmission system operator can automatically operate with the neighboring transmission system operators of the European Union and Moldova, because you are in one block. You have also to organize, the trading, but also you have to reform your market, because the electricity market in Ukraine, to some extent, is very heavily regulated. So it is the challenge how to move forward with this integration, and at the same time, not only preparing the system for integration, but also reforming the domestic system during the wartime. This is a very challenging objective. But look what Europe can offer you. Europe can offer you more trade. So today, this is the import from the European Union, because you need it, because you have deficit. But if the process of reconstruction will start, it is expected that you will have a profit of electricity. So you can trade it with the European Union. You can also profit from the stability of the prices at the European Union market. And the stability of the prices is the key factor for the investors. If you do not have predictability of the price in the future, you will not invest, because you don't know how the investment will be paying back in the 5-10 years from now. So this is what we can offer. And this offer has been made. The offer is on the table, and this is only dependent on Ukraine, whether Ukraine will join this market coupling project at the beginning of 2027 or 2028 or later. But it's only dependent on how fast you will be able to be ready to join the club, the biggest and the most liquid market in the world.
Ukraine will decide when to join the European integrated energy system in 27, 29 or 30. So we must prepare for market capping as a must-do task.
What is important is that this offer is to be seized by Ukrainian authorities well ahead of the day of accession. So you are about to start negotiations about the accession of the European Union so Ukraine joining the EU as a full-fledged member. But that will be the process, and you don't know when Ukraine will join the European Union. You don't know when Ukraine will become the member of the European Union. It might be a couple of years from now. But you know that you can become the member of the EU electricity market now, well ahead of the day of accession. you can be you can profit from the accelerated integration with the European Union. And the time frame is very simple. The date is first quarter 2027. Yeah. The offer is on the table. You can take it. That would require only your homework to be done, and you can profit then from this development. So what I'm saying, there is an option of joining, but this is undefined future. This is very defined future, and you can do it well ahead of the day of accession to the European Union.
Okay. All right, let's mark 2027. Get ready and dive in.
At least for electricity.
Yeah.
І ще маємо таке запитання.
We have another question. In 2024 to 2025, Ukraine's gas infrastructure suffered severe damage from missile and bomb strikes.
Значного ураження в результаті ракетно-бомбових ударів.
Various estimates suggest Ukraine lost 40% of its gas production. For next winter, we'll need 4 billion cubic meters of imported gas to get through.
4,5 мільярди кубів газу імпортованого для того, щоб ми змогли пройти.
What's your take on this? And what scenarios should we prepare for?
І, можливо, до яких сценаріїв нам готуватися?
Look, the pattern is again very similar. Due to the damages of the production facilities of gas in Ukraine, the domestic production was limited. And what was the first intuitive move of Ukraine? To start buying gas on the European Union market. So again, Ukraine profited for the emergency reasons from being integrated with the European Union market. So European Union market is your insurance policy.
Yeah.
European Union market is giving you room for maneuver, is offering you alternative solution. If you don't have your domestic production, you can immediately buy gas on the European market. And the Ukrainian company started buying gas in February, and they continued buying gas in March 2025. Yeah. So we have already observed that situation. This process will be continued to ensure that sufficient gas will be delivered to Ukraine for the new winter season. And this is extremely important because we would even assume that the consumption of gas would be growing. Why? Because more and more gas is being used for the production of electricity in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Only Secretariat provided 230 megawatts of installed capacity in the gas turbines. So this is the capacity of the electricity production, which is based on gas. So this would add gas, which is needed for the consumption in Ukraine. And this process of buying gas to compensate the deficit caused by Russian army will be continued. And we hope that will be done also with the support of the European Union. And the European Union is preparing financial instruments for Ukrainian companies to continue buying this gas for the new winter. What is, however, important is that Ukraine is also trying to attract international traders to store gas in Ukraine. I don't know whether you know, but during the winter 23-24, 2.5 BCM of gas was stored despite of the war situation in the Ukrainian storage systems for gas. Yeah. It was quite a huge success for Ukrainian companies because that generated incomes for those companies, but also allowed also European companies to make more money because they have been hedging summer and the winter prices on the European Union market. So this is the win-win situation. But this hasn't happened during the last winter. And we should ask ourselves why. Because there are some risks. There's the risk of destruction, and there are some regulatory risks on the Ukrainian market. When it comes to the risk of destruction, so that the Uktransgaz, the company which is responsible for managing the gas storage system in Ukraine, already proved that he's very much capable not only to restore that what has been damaged, but also to continue operating efficiently the gas system under the work conditions. So it seems that paradoxically, the war damages, the physical damages of the infrastructure, they can be easily removed, and the system is so huge, so vast, and so complex that they can efficiently provide the service of storing the gas for the European Union and also for Moldova. Another topic are the regulatory risks, and because the traders who are willing to deposit the gas in Ukraine, they want to know that they can take this gas at any time. And Ukraine has done a lot for that. You have introduced the special customs system for those gas. So this gas is not entering Ukraine, even if it's in Ukraine territory, it's not entering the Ukrainian customs system. So it can be taken in and out. Ukraine provided very reasonable prices for storing the gas in comparison to the prices in the European Union. But still some work is to be done in this so that we can regain the trust of the traders so that they can continue using these gas storages for preparation for Ukraine, but also for the European Union purposes and needs for the next winter, which is the 25-26 ahead of us.
That's a really interesting question. We need to carefully review storage costs to build this model and create a procurement model. This way, Ukraine's demand of 4 billion cubic meters won't impact EU countries' demand, most likely.
There will be an impact. So in any case, the question is how to use the best momentum and to buy the gas at the moment where it is relatively cheaper than in the winter, so that you can play properly this winter, summer price differences. There are many factors which are having the impact on that. There are a lot of regulatory also changes in the European Union. The European Union is now working on the prolongation of the gas storage obligation for the countries. But I do really believe that all of these issues will be clarified and we'll have a clear market situation which would allow also Ukrainian companies to establish the proper purchasing strategy and enter the European Union market. And also other markets, because Ukraine can be, this is what is important, can also reach out to the other markets, including the LNG market, through the LNG terminal in Greece on one hand, and through the Trans-Balkan pipeline, and on the other hand, through Klaipeda or through the Świnoujście terminal, LNG terminal in Poland. There are some limitations when it comes to the cross-border capacity. So we have been discussing, by the way, this particular issue with Ukrainian companies yesterday, but also there are some projects in pipeline to expand those capacities so that Ukraine can faster and the possibilities of importing gas could be broadened. But of course, the primary solution is to restore the walls which have been damaged, so that the domestic production can be effectively brought back to the market.
Thanks for today's interview, the meeting, and your candid answers. I want to thank you deeply for your found work. It's invaluable to us. We hope all will continue this way. We're grateful for your support in tough times. And it's great that the Secretariat took on this responsibility and handles these issues. I hope we'll overcome these challenges. And by 2027, Ukraine will fully join Europe's energy market. Thanks for these meetings. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me to this discussion. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
See you on our media channel. Feel free to leave questions, comments, likes, and dislikes. Keep it clean, and we'll catch you next time.